Okay. We good? That looks good. Okay. Let's see. I just noticed that something was... That looks good. Okay. It's me again. How do I stop? Stop me. Okay. Okay. It's always something. Yeah. It's always something. Okay. Welcome guys. Welcome over to Horizon and Judd. Let's see. Are you a member? I don't think Judd's a member. No, for a YouTube member, no. That little number 2 thing, and over Horizon's got number 1 is... I think Judd introduced us to that a while ago about the ranking system, the top fans. I guess I could try and disable it, or you might have to disable it on your end. I don't know exactly. That's the crowns thing, is that top fans. When we get into it, I can probably show that, but it is a little weird. It's a new YouTube feature that everyone demanded. Where it incentivizes you to try and interact more, to be like, well, if I chat more, then I can get more points, and then that lets me have the ranking with the crown to be number whatever. So that's a whole YouTube, worldwide thing, I guess now. I think you can disable it on your side, but I don't know if I can do it on my side. It is a little weird. If I go to my edit, customization, reactions, direct trailer, participation. Yeah, I don't quite see. Might have to look into it more. At least I saw it. What I've heard is that viewers can turn off the ranking visibility on it, but as a creator actually streaming it, I don't think I can turn it off. So yeah. Yeah, it's this new weird thing. So that's gonna get the chat to look a little funky now. Little format's weird. Oh well. Anyway, we'll move on from that then, I guess. Let's see. And we'll welcome Eric to the party. How you doing? Day's going pretty good. This week has been interesting. Because the ocean stopped. We're in low tide. Ah, jeez. Gotta start into this. Hang on, one sec. Gotta transition into main screen here. Oh, whoop. Let's see. Welcome. There we go. Am I on? Alright. Welcome. Hope you guys are doing good over this. At least in America, it's the 4th of July weekend. Exactly. 4th of July was interesting. I'll say that I had a nice extended vacation. Didn't have much to do at work, so they let me off even earlier than the already mandatory days off. Like Thursday and Friday was at work, were holidays, but I didn't have stuff to do, so they let me out on Wednesday. So I had Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off to do all of this, to work on game. It's better just working on game. That's good to hear you had a good time. That's good. So, my 4th of July, I just kind of woke up, did the little image of Derpy looking at fireworks. So that's on my YouTube post. That's just an image, and on Bluesky. And then, had nice, went to have a nice lunch. And my dad and mom helped make a nice barbecue. We have a grill, so we grilled hamburgers. And then I helped grill real bacon and onion. So kind of learned how to do all that. We cooked beans, baked beans, and yeah, and a nice bacon cheeseburger with onion, with baked beans, and that was our nice. We sat outside and had a nice picnic. So yeah, that was really nice, and kind of just hung out for a bit, and then I went downstairs and kept plugging away at my game. But game's going good. Game is now way more game than it was before. There was a... It's not a picture. Awesome. Yeah, it didn't take too long. Didn't spend too long on it, but at least it looks pretty okay. Let's see. Didn't publish anything that day. It was... Yeah, made it short, but delete it. If you need more time to, you know, work on something, it's okay to delay it. I understand. Been there a lot. I mean, this game has been delayed for about 5 months. Because I wanted this game to come out like last year, like last December or so. And look at us now. But yeah. So I worked out a whole bunch of stuff. I know from a couple weeks ago I got hung up on like one thing where it wouldn't export, so it wouldn't tell me like what the debugger was supposed to tell me what the errors were in the game, but it wasn't quite catching the error that should have been easy to check. So like 2 weeks ago I was like, I can't export my game, so I couldn't give you a demo of it because I literally can't make this into a packageable file for you to download. Also, link in the Discord channel if you want to play the game right now. That's in the pinned comment. So if you go to the description of this live stream, there's a Discord for Greenwater Club. So go to the Greenwater Club, link in the description, sign up there, and then there's a link in the gaming subchannel, and then you can download the game there. So, yeah. But either way. Welcome, Mike. Hello, hello. I'm saying that if you want to download the game, you can. In the Game Room subchannel, that's right. To play the game. Still early access, I would say. Not everything is set up, but I just spent like, maybe like 3 days worth, a couple weeks ago, trying to make the game actually run when I export it. It's like you're just supposed to like just supposed to go export and then make a game and then go pop, and then this is supposed to work. And it did, is that it did make a game, but it would immediately crash. So it wouldn't even like get up. It would be like, oh, here's you want to click on the game, double click, and then it would just make a box of the game and then just whoop and then disappear. So not even like to the title screen or anything. So problem is that my error debugger was like, hey, everything's fine. We're not gonna tell you what's wrong. So that was an entire goose chase to be like, you know, I had like 50 different items and, you know, all of this and, you know, all of this to manage. And it's like, ah. I get to like a long one here. This is all the scripts to what I'm scrolling through. So, yeah. So I had all of this to be like, what's wrong? I don't know. This is one script that's over now almost 120 lines to check through. Here's some blinks here. I can get rid of that. That doesn't do anything, but at least it makes it tidier. Times, you know, every single one of these to be like, it's gotta be one of these, right? Something in here has to be wrong. Who knows? I don't know. Because, like, the debugger wasn't telling me what's wrong. It could be any of these. It could be any of these, you know, any of these. I'll get to these slower. Is there something in here? There's a bunch of, like, just in here. Here's just a shop item here. There's all of this. There's a million other stuff in here, too. Just for the TSCNs for the scenes. I have all of these I was scrolling through. And it's like, it's got to be one of these, right? So it took me a couple while, and I didn't think it would be in here, because like I asked like in, you know, different tutorial stuff, and it's like, well, if it doesn't export, you know, make sure, you know, your editor stuff is good or something. like when it exports or something, when you do Windows, you know, there might be stuff in here, or it could be, then I went down the rabbit hole a little too far into like, well, maybe it's your drivers, maybe there's some R credit stuff, maybe there's command prompt stuff, and maybe you have to go into your inside your Windows command prompt and like say very weird things that I was like, well, it's gotta be that, right? And eventually my dad helped me out like a couple days later, and we saw that when I export and played a game, there's like this other command, because when you edit it, there's like a way to say like, oh, I want to also export with a console wrapper. And so this actually was the one that saved the day, was that there was this console wrapper. Thank you. And so that actually created a little box that would show up when you also try to click on the export button, try to just play the game. When you play the game, it also creates this box that has these code stuff to say like, this is what's running. And then it would actually say like fail, bap, bap, bap. I was like, oh, what's that say? But that would also immediately crash. So it'd be like less than a second to be able to see all the stuff that I would actually need to know of how to fix it. So, my dad helped me figure out like how to manually find that code from the console wrapper to see what's actually happening. And then it was just a matter of just fixing that to be like, oh, okay, my background or something, in my level, my parallax background, I called the sprite a different name. I renamed the sprite name because I wanted it to have like, I didn't have the day and night cycle. So I was like, created a day and night cycle. So I wanted to have a new name for the background sky here. So I was like, well, I guess now the background sky is now BK day, but I didn't also change it here. So it was like, oh, you wanted the original name of your file name? So like this texture was searching for a file name that didn't exist because I renamed it and then saved it and everything. So it doesn't actually exist in the game based on exact file name. So that's just a simple dumb mistake, but it cost me like 2 or 3 whole days of going through uninstalling drivers, make sure everything is updated, make sure your Windows is updated, make sure Godot is updated, you know. Maybe we should uninstall stuff, maybe you should reinstall your stuff. And it's like, whoa, 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 that's gotta be the issue, right? All I gotta do is uninstall Windows 32 and that'll fix it. So, yeah. But it was just a file name that was just like, because I renamed it and then didn't re-import it. So, now that I got that solved, I was able to rework on the game itself and be like, okay, now we can actually work on a game. So game works. I'll play that, turn this off, and then we can play another game. Okay, no main menu music, but yeah. Since it's on the middle stuff has the same price. Yeah, that's just for this demo. Guess I can turn this back on for now. Till we get to the level. So this is the newest thing. Literally last night I programmed all of this. So this is probably a little janky, rough around the edges. But if you guys see anything, like, just call it out and I'll try and eventually get to it. Yeah, because I want this stream to be kind of showing what I have, and that'll probably spark you guys to be like, well, that seems wrong, why don't you do this? So, I'll listen to all your feedback and try and do my best to fix it. But let you know, just for that particular thing, is that I will adjust these to have different prices. I can't fix it to be different prices if I want to. If I go to the shop itself, I can say I want this one. I have a variable here that's exported to say I want this one to cost 50 coin. So I can literally just type 50 coin in here. And then if I reload, go back to the shop, and now it costs 50. So that works. But now I definitely can't buy it. I guess I can give myself money or play this for a bit. Excuse to play the game. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of this stuff I kind of know, so it's more just features to see what or not other new stuff I can do. But I know about that. You haven't done the pause screen. Whoop. It's hard to play and read. Did you make the game or is it official? I'm not asking skill questions. Yeah, I've been working on this for like 6 months. So I programmed this from scratch. So how official is it? If you're saying like this is if making a mod to this, no, this is all original game that I'm working on. So but yeah, I'm glad you're interested in this now. It's not published yet. I'm still working on it as there's still a lot of stuff to do. So that's what today will be to see. At this point of my development, what else can I add? So my plan is to, I'll just pause it so we can not get distracted. Plan is to get everything in here done, and then if I get like 80% to 90% of this stuff done, then I'll call it good. So, but this is still quite a lot, but it's much more manageable now than when it was before. So it's not that bad, but still each of these, you know, can take like a couple hours, so that'll add up a lot. I'll go through it, so I'm not making you try and turn this back on. Change the sound. So let's see. Maybe it was when your price is right in a game like coins. Like the price like 51. Yeah, I could have it like 42, 36, some odd numbers. You guys can go through the different hats here. So plan is to have like these be pretty simple, like 10 or 20. The different color styles could be like pretty simple. This could be just 1 or 5 or something. These two could be like 10 each. And some of these I want to have them be missions, because that's one of these. Is that for the hats? I brought this last night, so let's see. So yeah, for the hats I want to either like create more, make it real big. There you go. Either create more or make them missions. And so the missions can be collected total amount of bits. I guess that doesn't work. Collect total bit. Collect total. Yeah. Total bit amount. As in that'll equal X. And then that'll be a mission, and that'll unlock a hat. Yeah. Total obstacles jumped to be some other big, you know, big number. Because this can also be a pretty, you know, like 100 or something, maybe like 1,000 or something. 1,000 seems a lot. Maybe just like 100. Maybe like yeah. And then total obstacles jumps could be a lot. And then reach night mode once and twice for the starry night ones. So once you reach the nighttime once, then it'll unlock automatically, hopefully. And if you do it twice, then you get the other hat. So there'll be little things within the game to be like, oh, you did it, way to go. Then they'll unlock it. Instead of being a price tag, it'll be like, oh, you did it, kind of deal instead. Yeah. And then some of these could be just expensive too, or just having this one be super expensive. The more elaborate ones, you know, like some of these could be more expensive to get. But yeah, just like coding all of this to even work has been the fun part. All of this took all day yesterday. All yesterday was working on this to even make this work. And then having it actually work within the actual game itself, which is actually kind of easy because the way that it's kind of set up, but still tedious, I guess, to do all of this. Because these are not actually the same images, like this hat, and this is actually different. So, some weird technical stuff where I wanted to have this be an icon. I wanted the icon to be the same as the hat, but the way that the ear needs to be layered. Because if I have the... Let's go on a weird tangent with this, is that if the hat... Using the default hat, this is my sprite sheet splayed out here. Let's see. This game looks fun. If you want to play it now, you can check out the Discord. I just don't want to make it like a public, put it here and then have, you know, some people mess up the Google Drive folder or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So my Discord is also, the link to the Discord is in the description for the Greenwater Club to sign up to that. And then you can go from there to the game room sub-channel. I could make it more public, but I'm just scared to get it into the wrong hands. I don't know. Didn't want to make it too large of an audience. Also because like I'm just scared that people might think that this is the game, and it's like, no, it's still a work in progress. Please leave me alone. So yeah. But here's a list of all the, can I zoom in? Ooh. Here's all the hats. I had to like redo all of this in a way, because it was just like the hat, but you can see like there's an ear here. So for this version of the hat, I had to add the ear to be on the sprite, because the stupid robot head one, which is somewhere. Where is it? We'll find it. So the big robot one has to be layered above her ear. You see that there's no ear, so I had to make two separate sprite sheets for the same images basically, but one with the ear and not, because otherwise it'd be weird to have the ear be, because otherwise you get this as the image on the shop, and it's like, why is there a decapitated ear here? So I had to spend more time making two sprite sheets, one with the ear and one without. All just because the robot one had, I gotta memorize which number it is. Where is default? 9. Ugh. Because if I had the ear, it would be placed on top as a separate. The ear is its own sprite. Because I split everything up so I could do animations. But the ear needed to be layered on top of her hair for like the other hats. If I go to a different hat, the ear is on top. So I had to get rid of my original just ear piece, get rid of that, make a new sprite sheet with the one with the ear, just so I can have it be layered, and then remove the ear because that would have the ear on top, and then had another whole sprite sheet just for the one that's the shop item, so that it wouldn't have the ear now next to it. And then I had to like reform, like make a new one just so I could put some of these were offset because it had to fit between like where they, on the character one, had it like over here. So I had to also go through and reset it into like a more centered position. So, that was just one part of it. And then doing all the scripting for between the shop, when you click all the buttons and what happens, and then when you click the button, what happens. So all of this, when you press the button, what happens. Linking between the sprite sheet pictures and knowing how that's set up, and then if it has an animation, then play it. Update the UI so that when you click the different buttons, it knows what status it is, whether that's equipped, unlocked, or locked. And then if you press the button, what happens? If you have all these conditions, then equip it. Otherwise, if it's not equipped, then it needs to know to spend the coins and then unlock the hat and then equip it and then get a sound effect. Otherwise, you don't have enough money, and so I can't afford will play. So all of that for all the different statuses, and then buy button has different animations too. With this, so here's a reset. Here's a cannot afford. There's the equipped version, the locked version, and the unlocked version. So did all of that last night. So that was fun. That's just for the shop, and I showed it to my dad. I gave the game, I exported it to like the phone version, and then like at like midnight, I was like, okay, cool. What do you think, Dad? Do you like game? And he was like, it had so much, he gave me so much constructive criticism. He did a very, very wide compliment sandwich. As in, he gave me like, yeah, game's pretty cool. How about you do this, 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 and this, and this sucks, and you should fix this, and this isn't how it's supposed to do. You should be doing it like this. Oh, so game's kind of cool, I guess. So he kind of went off a lot, and I was like, good, but it kind of hurt when it's like, oh man, I just spent all day fixing this to even get to this point, and then be told like, nah, what you did kind of was meh. So, it's saving. What's happening? I don't even know what happened. Okay. Now I'm wearing that hat. Oh yeah, I selected it. So, but yeah. So, make sure that when you try and click on this 51, you can't buy it. And making the default one here. Also added in the options a delete data button, which makes a sound. And that does delete everything. Goes back to default, and your shop now is reset. Also deletes your coins, so do that at your risk. So this is now in a state where I could probably keep adding more, because all the setup for any of this is pretty good, but it just needs to know what hat ID and then the different names for them, which would be in this hat. No, the hat itself. That's right. The hat itself has all of the hats. So I would need to add to this sprite sheet, I guess, and then add more for more stuff. I did see your comment for a little bit, but if you mean to delete it, that's fine. So that's just that. That was the most, front of my brain working on stuff for right now. But we'll replay the game, and we'll play the actual game to see how this is set up. Oh yeah, I deleted everything, so I'm gonna get hurt, but I'm just trying to resize it. So I'm gonna get hit. There's this new HUD display. A lot of the UI display is now set up, so a little timer kind of rotates. The score when you jump over something kind of goes green and goes yay. Yeah, you jumped over it. If you get a money, a Bitcoin, then you get a coin there. I get hurt again, so I lost another snowball of health. There's little animations of like when you get a bit. Little coin there. So everything in the UI up here is kind of looking pretty snazzy. I'm actually pretty happy with a lot of this setup. Everything, all the obstacles have a little bit better. When you hit it, there's a little bit of a better animation. And like there's a little bounce off when you hit something, so it'd be like bonk, and you kind of jump up. The pear sprite is new-ish from a couple weeks ago. Yeah, when you get hit by things, you kind of bounce off. Little particles, yeah, that's particles is from the Godot kind of particle system, but I definitely set that up. If I pause it, and kind of explain all that too. Particles are fun. On the Derpy ball, there's this constantly emitting little. They actually are snowball particles. Like the sprite of it is this pretty low quality or low res or picture of a snowball that are constantly being emitted out. And you can check out all of these because I think I pretty much, I guess there's some stuff I didn't do, but there's a lot of stuff that I can't do. Some of these gonna change. So they're like in different sizes and they have different lifetime expectancies and all sorts of stuff like the gravity and just like the scale and size and randomness. So yeah. Hello, what we got? Oh, favorite ponies. Derpy, good. Apple Bloom, AJ, Fluttershy, Pinky, and some more. Woo! Main cast, not too bad with Derpy. That's great. I like Derpy. I like Lyra. I like... Can't think of any more. They're all fun. Let's see. I like the more goofball ones. Like, what's the Discord one? Or like the screwball? Let's see. Just out of a good question. How do you get health back in the game? That was an idea. Let me get back to my chart. I do have an idea muffin to add health, but I'm thinking I want to change this. So I'll just put a little like maybe not into here. And then say we'll do a health where I'm thinking I want it to be, because my dad had an idea where as you're constantly rolling down, you're a snowball. So the longer you're rolling down, the ball would keep growing, you know. So over time, your ball would eventually get bigger. So I'm thinking that instead it would just be some sort of a timer. So where after, you know, a duration time of like you hit once, then to regain that one hit time, it could be like a certain amount of X time, you know, and then hit twice with maybe another X time to refill. I want it to be, I could probably just draw it. I'll go back and Toon Boom. That's my thumbnail. Go back to my notes. Is it my storyboards? Let's see. Where's my notes? Design? There you are. Haven't been here in a while. Nice prayer sprite. Made that on my own original. I made a Flash version, but prayer sprite is actually kind of fun to look at. We'll look at it later. Here's the flow chart of the main menus. The cutscene, the main gameplay. You win. Here's the original shop layout, where you get different designs. I was gonna have like a whole bunch and different like categories to be like, oh, it's a hat, it's a scarf, it's like your body parts with your little mittens, I guess. Making it so like when you get hit, the ball changes size. This almost worked, but I think just like I would have to really configure the gravity and physics to actually have this work. Where you roll and then there's a raised log that's being propped up by a rock, and then as you jump then you would then kind of get hit. So it's like I tested this out and it's like I never let's see. Need to go into here. Yeah, I'm just getting my buttons set up. Okay. So what happened was that I had a collision box that was like here. Well, that's a fun brush. That was my snow brush. Let's get to a normal brush. So I had a collision box that was like, you know, here, but the ball would just kind of. The ball would just kind of go across and then just kind of go like, huh. But then it would sometimes just kind of get up here and just kind of fall through because like this part is just constantly moving over. So the ball collision was just kind of like, I don't know what to do. So it never really went up at an angle. It never really just said, hello, you're a ramp? I will go up you as intended. So it was just kind of like, yeah, and then just kind of went across. So it never really said like, oh, okay, here's a ramp. I will go up the ramp and then go, yay, and then fall. So, yeah, if I can figure that out, then I can probably get this log thing back in order. But yeah, for right now, it's like, So I redesigned this log to be something else. Well, you saw it. If you played a game, there's another type of log. Is it a ramp or log ramp? So I redesigned it to just be flat. So the collision shape is just like whether or not you hit it on top or not. But yeah, this was like lifted up the rock, and then actually there's also an animation of it. Yeah, so it gets hit, so it changes to a different sprite and it kind of wiggles. So it just kind of whops. So yeah, might have to, you know, you gotta make sacrifices here and there and like change things once you realize you don't know what you're doing. This is like a mini game for if I had more time. But you would like click the left and right button on like each side of the screen, and then Derpy would go onto like one side and then like pack up the snow to make it bigger. I don't even know if that makes sense. So probably won't do this, but maybe in some extra DLC a year from now, I'll look at this and be like, oh yeah, let me work on this now. But at least for now, this isn't not on disable. And then the score for the minigame. Title screen, I do want to change it to be this. With a different version of what we got now. Let's see. Is your favorite? Ooh. Uh-oh. I think he told me at one point. It was like one of the secondary or background characters. No, that's a wide net. What were we gonna do? Now I changed from there to something else. I don't even remember why I opened that. Why did I open that? Oh, the health. Okay. So it would be one of these. So instead of this, we'll have a different version of the health. So what it'll look like, that's what I want. So let's see. Okay, Sunset Shimmer, that's right. And Pinky and Derpy. Exactly. That's exactly right. So instead of hearts, because last time it was just like Zelda hearts, or whatever kind of also games use that. So instead, we're just gonna duplicate this image real quick so I can keep it. So I got a new version of it. Okay, so now I can do whatever I want. So instead of these, we got the health bar, which is 3 progressively larger balls. So there's the health bar. So this one's always kind of filled because as soon as you, well, this is hit, well, this is hit 0, this is hit once, this is hit twice, and then if you get hit 3 times, then it's game over. So you never lose this ball. It just kind of says, "Oh, you lost it," and immediately just goes to game over. So don't have to worry about that, and I didn't. But if you get hit once, then it says, "Whoops, you lost this ball." But what I want to happen is if it is slowly over time, kind of like fill up. And so this will be like the, you know, halftime kind of thing. So let's see. Okay. So this here is 50% of the time. But yeah, so this just means that it's gonna go up progressively. How do I say time? Just the let's change. So over time, this will go up, and then it'll eventually refill back up to being filled. Yay! So until a certain amount of time, this can refill, and then if you get hit while this is going, then you just get down to 0, or you just get down to the next one, which is this one. So this will get filled, this will get empty, and then this will restart the line here. I wonder if I can grab it. Ugh. 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 So then if you get hit twice, then this one will then start to charge up, and then once this is empty and full, then this one will then eventually start to like fill up until this one is full. So depending on what state you're in, it'll take a while to fill up, but that's the idea that I got. What do you fancy that? Ugh. Is that some sort of like naturally over time the ball is rolling and so it'll fill up slowly? This doesn't make sense. But yeah. So you'll be able to see like a graphic of this slowly becoming a full ball again. So when you're like playing and you get hit, I haven't implemented yet, that's why I'm trying to explain it, is that this hasn't been fully implemented in that way, but if I get hit, then bonk, I lose a ball, and then if I do well enough and not get hit again, then over a certain amount of time, then it'll refill itself back up. And so you don't have to do, you just have to do well, but you won't have like this health pickup or anything else that might be something like that. Yay! So what do we think of that idea? Because otherwise I was gonna have like some ice muffin and then that would just immediately fill it up. But I feel like for more to get rid of the RNG of that, then having a timer will then kind of level the playing field, I guess. Good idea. Because I'm kind of running out of any other idea. And it just makes sense with the context of the ball slowly gaining, is rolling. The snowball is rolling on snow, so eventually, if you keep rolling, you'll eventually, you know, make sense that your ball would eventually grow bigger over time anyway. Let's see. Need to fix the resume button. It looks like it's restarting. Yeah, your score goes back to 0. So I'll have to figure that out. That's part of a lot of this. Let's see, is that in here? Can I do a search in here? I've never done that. Oh! The resume button. Yeah, okay. Well, in the pause screen, there is a resume button. And then the pause screen fixed to actually resume. There we go. So, now we got that. So this is my to-do list. So, everything here is something I would like to work on to make sure that this is set up correctly. Most of this is just kind of doing a bunch of the, especially all of these are just screens. Send out the buttons, like making them, the option screen have certain buttons. So a lot of this has been, you know, a lot of game development feels like making a jigsaw puzzle. But you have to create the jigsaw puzzle first. You have to, boom. Like if I want to make a jigsaw puzzle, it's not like, oh, you know, here's a jigsaw. Oh my god, I can't draw. It's hard to. Really. So there's a jigsaw puzzle, but it's like, oh, I want to put it with the other jigsaw piece. You know, I just want to put these together because this is, you know, this is the derpy picture, and it's like, oh, here's the level, and it's like, oh yeah, here's the UI. Oh, it's like, oh, okay, I just want these to fit together, right? And all I have to do is just, you know, code this and then I'll be done, right? And it's like, no, you have to make this, you know, which would then be all of the different features here to make this. And it's like, okay, and then when you put all of this in a box, then you have a puzzle piece, and then you can then put these pieces into the level and then mix that with your UI puzzle piece, and then all of these get happy together. But not until you actually put all the pieces together and like all the code too of the, you know, if the if statements, and then the variables, and then all of these can also be other stuff, like what's a variable? And it's like, oh, the variable is equal to all of this junk, and it's like, okay, well, what is this? And it's like, well, does this connect to like this over thing over here? And it's like, so then you get all of this, and then that becomes happy derpy. And then you can put this into the level, and then, yeah. So, it's like, why don't you just fix this? And it's like, ugh, this is what I have to deal with. It's all of these little things, and here's the variable, and here's the if-thens, and here's what all the other, like, other components that are also talking to another box that's just even bigger with even more stuff, which is also talking to like the entire code, which is all of this, which can be each of these can be its own thing. So I'm just glad that I even, you know, have, you know, some of these puzzle pieces that I have now. You know, I just have like the hat sort of working now, which is connected to the shop. So just trying to put all these together, and I was like, oh man. It's like, why have you done this yet? Or why is every zoom button not working? Or why is there no music? It's like, because every single thing here is like its own subcomponent to something else. And I haven't made that puzzle piece yet. You know, it's like, oh, it's a phantom piece yet or something. And it's like, oh no, oh no. It's like, I haven't done this yet, but this will talk to like some other stuff to then make this. And it's like, It's like, if I don't have this yet, which I didn't have to shop yet because I didn't have some other component, which I haven't even done yet either. It's like, I didn't have the hat set up yet, so if I don't have the hat set up, I can't do the shop, which means I can't do this other project. So it's like, oh no. So, so anyway, it just starts to like get, you know, smaller and smaller, like the atom size. We're trying to like set up each individual part. So, yeah. But once you set them up, then these can all be nice, happy things, and then be like, yay. And then you make a game once you make all these put together. So until then, I have to make the puzzle pieces, which is part of all this stuff, which talks to like all this other random garbage, which is part of the master script, which is part of like a whole bunch of little scripts, which issue D scripts is something else. But if this script is trying to talk to this, which doesn't exist, then you have a problem. So then you have to make this. But what's the order when this is like, well, does this need to talk to this other thing? But not really. So you can kind of get away with it. But until this other thing really requires it, then you have to start making that. So, so it's complicated. But yeah, don't feel like, oh no, you know, this doesn't work. It's like, yeah. More than likely, I know. It's probably in here somewhere. And, yeah. And some other stuff, I haven't even... some other stuff where, like, I want to have, like, more obstacles. Where I want to have, like, ponies skiing and you jump over them. Or a different pony where he's throwing a snowball. And you gotta, like... He, like, lodges it high or low. Where he'll be kind of like the Pear Sprite, where like he'll be like skiing or something with his little hat, or like snowboarding. He's got a cool snowboard, and that's going to, and he like has a big snowball. He's just a little brat. He's like, haha, I'm gonna get you. And then you can either do this type where it goes high, which might go over you if it's parabola, or just arc, I guess, where it might go over you. So it'll be high enough that if you jump, then you'll hit it, or you can throw it lower and then you gotta jump over it. So this would be like the bad jump into it, but if you then don't jump, then you get hit. So stuff like that, like with the Pear Sprite, where if it chooses whether or not like halfway the Pear Sprite either goes up or down. I try to code this. Just one of the other things I gotta do, you know? Oh well. Yeah. I got most of the critical stuff done. Like there's a level, there's a character, there's a UI, there's a win, not really a win state, but there's definitely a fail state. Where if all your balls, if you get hit 3 times, then you lose. So, yeah. That'd be awesome. Thank you. So, what's the minigame? This is just kind of like one of the obstacles that'll just kind of appear. I don't know how to exactly implement this with the rest of everything, just because my plan was like having him kind of show up and be like a whole boss battle, where like he would throw like 3 or so snowballs, and then we'll kind of leave in some way. But just snowballing, spitballing here, whoa! That I guess he could like kind of like show up, throw a ball, and then just quickly snowboard out of there. Be like, heh. And then just be really quick. Just be like, whoo, hey, draw a ball, and leave. Like, exit stage right, I guess. Like this. So, like, the speed of it would be like, heh, how you doing? I'm gonna draw a ball. And then be like, heh, cool. Alright, see ya. So that's something. But I'm thinking some of these might be... If I get everything else done, and if I'm... Because I want to get this release... which I guess is part of the itch.io part. So version 1.0 could be released maybe next Saturday, which is like the, what would it be? Today's 5 plus 7, 13, 12. So I might have to scale this back, but most of this isn't too tricky. Now that I, you know, explained this, that there's different puzzle pieces I needed to do. Because now that I have most of, like, the menus, or at least I have places where the buttons can go to. Like, I might not have had a shop, you know, and then having a button for it then wouldn't work. So that's where it's like, need to first create the puzzle piece of the shop, and then I can have a button go to it. So a lot of this now is like, okay, well, you have a main menu button, right? So, bless you. So all I gotta have is just a main menu, and then a shop, and then just add a play again button. And then that'd be pretty much it for some of these, you know. The pause screen just has to fix it, and then I need to make it options, and then, bless you. Now that I have a shop, I can just go to that and have a main menu. So these are just buttons to refer to from the pause screen, go to the main menu. Because I have a main menu, I'm able to just plug that in. So that's, stuff like that is like, okay, you know, like this is like a 1-minute job to add a button. Whereas like audio is its own thing for like the music. There is like a 20-second, almost like a demo track for the main level, but I want to have the level 1 have a day version and then a night version for level 1. So it can have a little more starry, kind of more twinkly sound for the night version of the level music. The pause screen can have a little more focus on the percussion part. The shop could be more bossa nova. I'm thinking it could just be like the same song, but I just gotta re-instrumentalize it. Or change, like, you know, make the shop some sort of, is that how you spell it? Or more swing style or something. Well, welcome. So far, so cool. Thank you. Great game. It'll hopefully be a greater game once some of these to-dos are completed. So far, have you played the demo? I'm just curious. Because I got the demo, the newest version is in my Discord channel, so just wanted to check on that. Some sort of somber, is that? There's no spell check in here, so that's I feel like that's weird. I was just thinking of the types. Main menu, some sort of upbeat version of the main, because there'd be the music will have some sort of big, there'd be some main motif to the songs, and then I'm just kind of re-instrumentalizing it, making it have like the night version have more some maybe like slower twinkly twinkly sparkly kind of feel to it. Neutral, the most basic version of it, of the song. Pretty fast pace. Somewhat fast. Pause and options, that was gonna be motif with, not really. Let's do more, I was gonna say more percussion version. Percussion heavy version of it. The shop. Bossa Nova / Muzak? I think that's it. There's a whole genre of like elevator music. That's just the kind of boop 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 boop, the eShop music. eShop music on the Wii was more bossa nova. Trying to think if there's any that is actually just Muzak. It's like when you get on, try to like call your bank and like you get the on hold music. Is that kind of like, not really stock music, but it kind of feels like it. I'm just gonna make sure I got the spelling of Muzak. Looking at a Muse with a Z? American brand of background music. Ah, there we go. Yeah, it's at a mall. But it'd be like a mall that doesn't play Taylor Swift. It plays kind of like weird instrumental, like mood vibe. You've heard it. It's hard to explain exactly. Background music. Played in retail stores and other public establishments owned by Mood Music. Mood Media. Muzak. It's a blend of music and a popular camera brand, Kodak. What? George Owen Square. Oh, you don't have to know the history. Anyway. So, that'd be something. some sound effects for the buttons to have some sort of pop sound or something. Obstacles is easy. Derpy will have some sort of thing. You wanted to create more. Wanted one with sunglasses. If I add, could replace one of them if one of them's not that inventive. Because it is nice. If I had one more, then it's like, what? For the answer, guys, I could add 3 more. I was thinking of having different crown versions where it could be, that could work. So I could have a sunglasses one, and then a bronze hat, silver hat, gold hat, and then a platinum hat. Just to fill this out more. Feels like a lot of hats, but it'd just be like different missions will get you the different hats, or you have to buy them to get special crowns. I do like this. This is nice. Let's go. Wait to go until launch. How fast and long? Hope you good luck. Thank you. Because I also gotta, you know, do the HEO stuff as well. I'm actually making the web page, add screenshots, and then publish and make sure that everything works. But also, like I said, like if most of these are set up in this part, which is made up of all of this, where I just have Derpy as its own puzzle piece, then I just need to slot that into the rest of the game, you know? It's just when I have to make something from scratch, which would be using, you know, all of this code, all of the code, plus all of the bips, and then, you know, the wow wows, and all the physics and anything else that needs to be placed in here, then this is what takes forever. Is this part of like, I need to create this, which becomes a puzzle piece, which then I can put that into the large whole jigsaw puzzle. It's just that, yeah. So, most of these, again, is just like adding 2 existing puzzle pieces. So, I hope that, it'll just be, they should just be kind of like knocking things down, you know, one by one, and be like, okay, done, you know. Most of this stuff is into wings, where it's like I already got most of this done. So, looks like a lot, but it's more just like, need to make some, like I already made some bushes. Then I just need to implement them, kind of thing. And pony flying away is like, that's just adding the animation to what character sprite, and then saying when, if certain timer elapse or some random time happens, then play it, you know. So that shouldn't take too long. Some of this stuff I'm hesitant to do in this version 1, so I might go through and say, you know, maybe pony drawing snowballs might be, you know, part of version 1.x instead. Or maybe even a pony scheme could be version 1.x too. But that just means that maybe I can save some of this stuff for a later version, so that for what I can do this week would just be the version 1.0 stuff. And then this could be like the version 1.1, which could come later. So, scheduled dead would be release of 1.0 July 12th, but version 1.1 could be July later. So maybe like a week after that, which would be 12 plus 7. That's not how that works. 19? So, and then doing that. So I might not to, yeah. So I don't have to focus on literally everything here, but you know, I could even make some of these, you know, to create more for sunglasses. This can be part of the 1.1 version instead of the 1.0. But I could make the how many 4x3 12, but I can make these beta mission ones. So does that help? Let's see. I love Canada. I already know what Canadian show is. Film. Yeah, I liked in there's a reference to in the season 1 winter wrap up. I think like in the beginning, Spike is like in a bush or something, and he like comes out, and there's like a Canadian. The leaf is just in there, mixed in there. So that was a nice little Canadian Easter egg. I've been to Canada a couple times. It's real nice. I mean, most of because I'm in Washington, so like most of it has just been going to Victoria. I'm not sure. Whatever's just like just north of Washington. Just been there a couple times. So there's like a capital there. Let's see. Okay, how we doing? Maybe we could play the game again to get more ideas. Second bottle of can't buy that one. So I think for now I just want to scale it to just be just what I have created. So I'll just focus on what I have and then just kind of add here new stuff here and there, but mostly just try and get this stuff into here to be the big blocks of like all the other fun stuff here to be the full puzzle there. Let's see. Okay. Welcome. Was that a little longer? Well, I hope so. If you do have to leave, then the video on demand, just this live stream will become a video, and you can watch that at your leisure. But I do appreciate if you hang out and ask more questions and stuff. That's always fun. So, like, another question. Can I include something that's gone? I don't know. Maybe I can. Yeah. So yeah, at least for now, I'll just try and figure out and pick out which of these I can save for another time, and then focus on the stuff that I can do. So, like this. This was another idea. How do we think about this? Well, what do you think, Cookie? We've gone through a lot already. This is my to-do list. It's a lot, but I've said that. I made a chart of where I think of it like game development as a whole is like making a jigsaw puzzle, where you create each individual puzzle piece itself by giving it variables and giving it stats and everything that then gets mushed up together with your code, and that becomes a puzzle piece, and then you put those puzzle pieces together into your game. So it's a lot of work to be like, well, why don't you just add a whole new character that's like completely different? Why don't you add a cat character? And it's like, oh, I don't even have that. So I had to create everything from all of these stats and drawings and everything else. Because it was also like, can't you add more hats? And I was like, yeah. But I also had to design them and then implement them and then get it. But most of the... Because I worked on the shop and making sure that everything here works. So I can delete my data here. I have no money. Let's play the game to get money. Well, we're in good halftime, so we can kind of now know what we're looking for now. You know, people that started early can now be like, oh yeah, that's an idea that it should be implemented now. And Cookie, have you played the demo yet? I posted it last night, so I don't know if that was enough time for you to kind of figure that out yet, to play it yet. You can download it now, I guess, and then see how's it looking. I would say there's still... I haven't seen too many bugs, which is interesting. I think I cleared most of the bugs out. Yeah, not that Paris right. There's been a couple bugs where, like, the particle effect that I put on Derpy, like the animation ever, when you get a coin. Might have to fix some... I mean, there's always going to be some bugs here and there, but... So I have in Derpy Ball an animation where... From her animation player, when she coin get, there's like these particles sprites that I made. So these little shards, little sparkles that appear, and they go woo woo woo. But sometimes you might have to figure out what the... I'm not sure what causes it. But sometimes these sparkles here just kind of keep repeating and playing over and over. Until you get hit or change your state, basically. So, might have to look into that. And then, most of the other stuff that is like, oh, that's wrong, will be in here. So, I think there was stuff about the resume button. Tried to find it. Oh yeah, the pause screen, resume button. I just haven't got to it yet. So a lot of this, 90% of this is like I haven't got to yet. More than I don't even have it. Like I have an options screen, but I haven't worked on it enough to be like, oh yes, let me add what I need into it as a final. So yeah. So, but yeah, let's play a little bit more. But yeah, this shop works mostly as intended. My dad had an idea where you should be able to, if you don't have enough money, like this one, I set this one to be 50, just for testing right now. If you can't buy it, my dad says you should just be able to preview it by clicking on it, and then the hat should appear here, and then have a buy button of some sort to be like, yeah, now that I see what it looks like on here, how it looks on her, I want to then purchase it. So, I don't allow window shopping where it's like, hey, that's a nice hat. I will now buy it, and here you go, you have it now. But I don't know. He was also playing on the phone, so imagine it being, you know, like, well, you're probably on a phone too, but the scale of it was like this. And it was like, oh, I can't really see what that looks like. And it's like, yeah, you know. It's also said like some other simple stuff, woo, like the text on the button, the number, cost number, could be a little bit more contrasty. I try to make it contrasty by making it darker, but maybe I need to make it lighter or a different hue. I'm not sure. Like the pirate, yay! Try to appeal to different tastes. Can you like it by watching an ad? You know, I would have to figure out how to do that. That's another thing of like, I would have to figure out how to create that, and then I can implement it. I'm not sure how to just say like, oh yeah, let me just add an ad. I'll have to like spend time researching how to ethically do an ad and legally go through that wormhole. And this will also be an exe that you download. So even if I put an ad, this would just be a local exe file on your computer. So I don't know how that would work. Because most of those that have an ad are going to be mobile games where it's online connected to a server that would connect back to me. Or an online game like an MMO or something where that game is online. So probably won't work with the Windows or Apple desktop computer version. And even then, I think I don't know what the rate is anyway. But I do know that Itch.io does take a cut. I'll look up what that is. How much does Itch.io? When you buy something on Itch.io, how much does Itch.io take for themselves? Because I think they have to be transparent about that. Their cut. No, I'm searching inside of the dashboard. So I can see my gross revenue on my site, but I think my payout was a little bit less or something. Yeah, let's look up Itch.io payment cut. Let's see. See if it's in here. So you can do PayPal. So if you got, I'm gonna make this game free, but if you want to, okay, 10%. I'm gonna make this game free, but if you want to donate or do a tip, it's probably a better way. If you want to leave a tip, then you can do that. I'm just gonna close everything so I don't get distracted. Hello, nothing. Hello, pen. Game. So, look at his words. I'm just trying to close things so you can pay attention. Okay. Welcome, bees. Hello. Yeah. Maybe just add the links to your YouTube channel. Oh, okay. Or maybe a website, because that's got more. But that's a good idea. Yeah, I could do that in my credits. I think I did that in my credits to Sunny's Dream, I think. I might have done that. Where in the About section on the Sunny's Dream, I was like, I made this. Here's a link to my website. And then it would have a hyperlink to there. So, that can work. And that can work on any device too, because that should just be a hyperlink. I don't know if the mobile... We'll have to figure that out. If you can put a hyperlink inside of a mobile game, would it open a browser? Can I trust it to open a browser? Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Let's see. This song's long. Boop, boop, do. Okay. That's okay. Your idea... all ideas are fun. I get too into the weeds of like, you know, well, if this happens, then this will happen. It's like, oh, you have an idea. That's fun. Here's your fun idea. I can close it to be like, oh yeah, here's my idea. Well, that would mean that if this happens, then all of this happens, but if you do that, then also this happens, but otherwise this can happen too. So it's like, oh, cool idea. Oh. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go back to, loop back to saying the game will be free. There'll be a button to say, do you want to buy it or leave a tip? And there's a button to say, no, just let me download the game without paying. Just gonna check on how this works on SunnyStream. What happens? Yeah, okay. So, because I have it with Sunny's Dreams, this is the page for Sunny's Dream. They even say like the goodie bag is an optional download, price at a minimum of $1. This is what it includes. So, if you pay $0, then you get the game. But if you pay at least $1 USD, then you get the goodie bag. So yeah, that's what that says. So, there's the pictures. So if you pay $1 USD or more, then you get the game plus the goodie bag, which includes an art book, MP3s, a PDF of the music grand steps, and a walkthrough. So I'm thinking of doing something like this for Derpy Snow 2 as well. I am thinking of doing an art book. I think I put that on my list for itch.io. Yeah, to do an art book as well, to do a making of, sketches and designs, and a music playlist. So then that would be a paid thing. So, but yeah, the game itself would be free, but if you want a tip, then you could do that. So yeah, this game is free, but the developer accepts your support. Accepts your support by letting you pay what you think is fair for the game. So, you can click this, no thanks, just take me to downloads, and it'll just download directly to your computer. But, if you pay the $1, then you get the goodie bag. So, if you pay $2, then you get the goodie bag as well. If you pay 99 cents, then you get the game only. You don't get the goodie bag. So, I already paid for this. But I also wanted to look up the page. Open revenue sharing is marketplace. We utilize an open revenue sharing model. Me, can decide. Okay, here's an example. Payment processor fees. Just skimming through. So, oh, okay. This is a little different. So, we'll assume the default rate of 10%. So if you give me $1 as a tip, then I will receive 90 cents, and then they'll receive 10%, 10 cents. But there is all this per transaction fee. So, the payments processor fee is typically comprised of a fixed amount around 30 cents and a percentage amount around 2.9%. So due to the fixed fee, the total percentage of the entire transaction, the fee represents changes depending on the price of your product. Okay, so 30 cents of $1 payment is 30%. 30 cents of $2 percent is 15%. So you can avoid higher payment processing fee. Oh, it's giving me a tip. Don't know. This is. So for this reason, we usually recommend people minimally selling their work at $2 to avoid giving up a larger percentage of their earnings to your payment processor. So I also have to deal with this now as well. I did know my first game was like my first game ever published, so I wanted it to be really, really cheap. So, and you can always, I have a couple people actually buy the game at like a ridiculous amount. I was like, whoa, I don't know if I can accept this. It was like, oh, you actually are paying this game as if it's a real game. Okay. Are you sure? You put a decimal in the wrong place. VAT. Tax interview. Ugh. Tax withholding. Anyway, so that was also to say, like, if that percentage and 30%, so it's either 10% if I do the open sharing or 30% if I do it the other way. So either way, itch.io will take a certain amount of the money. So if you feel like, oh, I'm generously donating to you, and you know, I feel like I'm gonna give you $1 because that's what this looks like. I'm gonna give you $1. I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna get some processing fees and other stuff. So if you are so inclined, within your budget and everything, consider doing more, or at least, you know, 50% more than maybe, just to like cover the processing fees and to like give me a little bit more. Obviously, all of it is obviously completely, you know, optional. You can just click this and it'll just download it and it'll be like boop boop, and then you get it. So that's just getting into it to be like, what is this? When the game releases, you'd be like, what is this? And it'd be like, I have to give you money? And it's like, no, you don't. This is like the weird half gray image of this gray text to say like, no, you don't. But if you want to, that's an option. But yeah, so okay, let's go back to this, back to game that we're working on. I guess I could move this up here for the art book, which is part of the itch.io thing. And maybe something else, I guess. What else would you want? The music could also be the playlist plus the grand stuff. They kind of all be the same, but yeah. What was also in the... Oh, the walkthrough. Don't really need a walkthrough for this game, because I'll have a tutorial. I do have a tutorial somewhere. Yeah. Tutorial screen I will add. So step-by-step how to play with cute pictures of playing. So I was thinking of doing some chibi versions of my chibi characters to make it even cuter. Because I did add a feature when you played a game, which my dad had a little trouble adjusting to immediately. So if I had a tutorial, then he would have known that. Where if you played a game, if I hit the button really fast and like release it fast, then you do a short hop. But if you hold it for more than 1/10 of a second, then you do a long jump and you jump over higher. So my dad was playing on the phone, and he was like, you know, like stabbing him basically with his thumb, and then it was like really inaccurate of like how he was playing. Like I've never seen anyone just like try and tap things with like the distance his hand was from the screen, and then tapping it was like, how do you... It's like he was holding it with his left hand, but then his right hand was just kind of like hovering far away from it, and then like 2 inches away, and then like quickly like then like jousting into it. Thank you. It's been a labor of blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of blood. So that's why I said, like, at that first demo, if people liked it at that time, I was like, we'll just wait to see what happens next. That there's gonna be a lot of polish, hopefully happening. Yeah, I'm pretty glad with what I have now. I spent like 90% of the time just working on this screen, so making sure everything's in here. You know, again, like everything here that you see is individually a puzzle piece that had to be carefully crafted. Make it to show like the different animations. I guess I could just do it with the parts here. I don't think I have them all set up, so I'll have to kind of go through each of what I have. Need to use the TSCNs. There we go. So here's this, yeah, and then there's different frames. I don't know if I showed the bit, but at least this has all of this going on as a spin. And then there's a separate animation of just the particles. How does that work? How did I do that? How did I do that? Oh yeah, it's its own scene. That's right. So I made a whole scene of just the particles because I wanted to add this to different elements. That didn't quite work with Derpy, and I had to like make it anyway, so I had to like add signals, and it got really complicated. So these are individual sparkles, and then there's the animation. Yeah, there's two different versions, where the regular bit has this kind of like sparkly woo. So it changes position, changes scale, changes frame over time, and just kind of randomly adding keyframes of it, kind of going, each of them kind of moving in and out. And then a different version of for Derpy to have her own version, which is kind of more simple, just to kind of like have them be part of when she gets a coin. Then these will spawn in, and then just kind of do that animation. Let's see. What games have in Switch? I don't know how it works since I've never played it. Chip plays and make my own games. It's fun. Games is fun. I've always heard that, especially at community college, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you have a cool idea? Why don't you make that a game?" And it's like, thanks, teacher. Do you know how actually hard that is? If I had to explain what I'm doing with pictures that are like this to be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing to make a game. I don't know if they realize that's like, you know, it's like, oh well, you made a cute game. You have a cute idea with your, oh, you made a cute artwork in our community college artwork class. Why don't you make that a game? And it's like, oh. And it's like, dude, just literally expect me to sit down and be like, oh yes, let me open my game engine that I know how to use. Now that I have all these skills in artwork, it should be able to perfectly translate to a game engine and just be able to go in and say, script this out and be like, oh yes, now that I've learned how to draw a circle correctly, I should be able to do this as well, right? And then I'll be able to just make my game and then publish it, right? And it's like, I don't know. So, anyway, I was like, what? Like, I know how much work it is, and I was like, what do you mean? So even just this is like, I wanted it to be, when you hit the rock, when Derpy collides with rock with this collider, with this zone, then it changes to a different animation where there's different frame, where there's a little crack in here, and then scale of it and position, and then kind of changes its color. Yeah. That's when you hit it. And I think most of those are kind of the same type of thing. And Paris Ride's a little complicated. I'll go into that. Guten Tag. Oh, good day to you, Edgy. How you doing? Just kind of going over what I've made so far. I don't know if I've explained too much of this, but this was really fun. The Paris Ride is made out of, can I just, yeah. I think I can do this. Collider. It says wing sprite, which doesn't show up unless that part's there. Okay. Let's see. I had a good weekend. Had a nice barbecue. Or I guess, yeah, it was more just like grilling burgers for 4th of July. Because that was fun. Had a nice lunch yesterday. So I'm doing pretty good today. Got kind of going over what I made in the game so far. So let's see. So there's different versions. There's the fly animation where it's separated by this. There's this. So here's a sprite sheet. So I made this. Where'd he go? There he is. So I made this in Toon Boom. Drew the different parts. Let's get rid of that design. Open Parasprite. Easy, I'm going. Oh! So there's different states basically. So there's the wings, which is separate. There's the legs, which is separate. There's the whole body. There's the eyes, which is the face, basically. And so there's different drawings per each of these. Or I've added like a blink version of just the face. And then one going, oh! With its own face as well. And then the legs kind of change too, down here. And then the wings have like 3 frames. And then I made these separate into a sprite sheet. I put these into Flash, actually. And then arranged them into a big box with the main body, the 3 frames of flying animation, and then the 2 body pictures. So what happens is, during the animation, I'm able to then call on 2 different parts. The body is a different part from the wings. If I can grab it correctly. Not really. Anyway, you saw that the wings are its own piece. And so what happens is that I swap between the frames of it, and then it swaps between those 3 flying pictures. And then it's got a different face animation, and then it's moving in space between all of that too, between each of these. And then it swaps between the body picture to have the blink animation, and then it goes back up. So it kind of goes up and down, and then has the wing animation as well. By separating the wings from the face, I'm then able to have more control over the face timing, because then I'm not dependent on like, oh well, this is this one picture where, you know, if only the timing of this wing frame was right. Otherwise, you know, if it's one picture, I have to be like, okay, well, this one frame picture here has to be on this frame, so I have to line it up exactly. But what if I want it to be a little longer of a blink? Like I want it to be like 1 frame longer, or make this, you know, super long. It's like I can have it be a longer blink cycle, and then the wings don't change their cycle at all. So a lot of little stuff that's like, I knew how to set this up. Like this is the easy part. All this kind of like stuff in here looks complicated, but it's like, because I've already spent like 10 years learning animation and all of this stuff, that's like, okay, you know, all of this is like, whatever. Take this and like make different parts and then put this into Godot and then be like, okay, let me recreate it and make the animation. So, and then there's a fly hit, which is basically the same flying, but instead, it kind of goes, oh. So there is a little bit of a, I wanted to have like some more show that it got hit. So I made the wings stop for a bit, and it goes, oh, okay, time to fly. Like it's just momentarily like dazed to be like, oh, you hit me, like, ugh. And then there's enough time after this to like get off the screen, so you don't see it being looped. But yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Eric. Have a good day. Adios. Thank you. Thanks for sticking around. You got to be number 3. Way to go. Whatever that means. It's not even showing up on the live stream. chat box correctly. Oh well. It's like it censors it. That's so weird. I don't know how to fix that part. That's a new feature. But yeah. So that's one thing. This is a rock. And this is a tree. This went over a couple iterations. Remember the first version of the tree? I think I still have that as a thing here. That's the obstacle. Frame 1. Is that... Where's tree? So there's this tree. Is this original? No, this is original. Remember this guy? Yeah. In retrospect, this is a horrible tree. Yeah. Problem is that I wanted this to be like on the stage, to be like when you're rolling along, when you're like down here, like on a floor level, you're supposed to be like, oh no, I had to, because this branch is different, which is like the, you know, the Hanna-Barbera 60s, like, oh, it's a different cell layer because it's different color. You know exactly when Scooby-Doo's gonna pick up that one book out of the bookcase because it's like lightly colored. So I try to do that, where it's like, oh, if you jump, then you go, ow, and then that's how you would lose a health kind of thing. So this didn't really work just because it's a little flat. It doesn't make sense with being 3D-ish space. So try it again. Is there 2 versions? Oh yeah, there's one with a little tiny branch. And I was like, yeah, make it bigger. This one feels like it's more dimensional, more rounded. And so yeah, when you do the same thing again, hopefully this makes sense. At least it's better, I feel, in some way, where it's like you're kind of going underneath it because it's like, whoa. Then if you jump into this, then you get the snow to fall. Oh, the snow was also really fun to figure that part out. In that there's, again, like 2 parts to this. The sprite has the tree, and there's a little tiny snowball right here. And so what's happening is that there's the trunk, and then there's the snow sprite, which is its own piece. And then the animation has the snow falling like this, so it'll shake, and then the snow part of this part just goes wow, and then falls to the ground, and then goes boop, boop, boop. So you like, you hit the tree, and then it goes boom, boom. And then, because I realized that in the game you can hit the tree twice. So this is where your gameplay tested it to be like, hey, wait a minute. As a ball, I can hit the tree twice. And what happened was that it would play the same snowfall again. So it'll do this again. So I was like, wait a minute. Huh. So either, you know, do I redesign it or redraw it or make some sort of if statement, or what do I do? So I was like, okay, we'll duplicate where it's here at this frame, and then just make it so that that's this state, and then just shake the tree. So the snowball is at the bottom here. And then in the script, have the tree branch have some extra else where it'll do the tree shake instead of the tree hit for the animation. So when it gets hit, if it's part of the player, if not snowfall, then do snowfall animation, and then snowfall equals true, and then otherwise, if there's a tree animation, then play the tree shake. So it's a little confusing, but basically it's how that works, is that if you hit it once, then it just plays a snowfall animation, then you hit it again, then it does only the tree shake with the snowball at the bottom. So all of this takes a while to like be like, huh? But yeah, that works. Is that about it? That's about everything, I think, for the game so far. A lot of this was, the background. That was huge to make it be... Where's my level? Level 1. Here's the full one. Here's the background layer. This is like my first time getting really stuck on like, I want to add something big. I want to add a whole new jigsaw piece. And I was like, how do I do this? Where I wanted to transition it to nighttime. And there's a lot that happens in there. But basically I think it removes, there's an animation of the sky cycle where it just disappears. It takes away the sky into an alpha layer. So it takes this whole background here and removes it basically. And then there's a bunch of other stuff. Oh, there's a sun and moon that happen. Where, oh, this is fun, out of bounds. Is that the sun does this over like one frame where it goes down and then it swaps to be the moon sprite. So it goes underneath, under the ground, then travels over to the different X position, changes into a moon, and then goes up. So explain that, science. Yeah. And it's using the same sprite, basically, just in a different, just a different picture version of it. So here's the sun, and then here's the moon picture. So it's the same sprite sheet, but it just swaps between which one is then the next frame. I could have it where like both of them kind of do, they're both at the same time, whereas like kind of more even, like around here the moon will show up, but just based on the other timings of other stuff, it made more sense to kind of do it this way. Because the sky itself takes a while, about a whole second to go wheel. It's more fun to like see it one at a time, to not get two things at once while you're transitioning. And then that's not all. Because when that happens, there's also a day to night thing that also happens, which is like this rectangle that has this dissolve where it shows up on top of everything. So we go back to the level. Where is that? So in the main level, there's this day to night, which is this extra box that's just on top. And during, if it gets called in, then it's like this extra tint layer. I call it day to night because in like old 50s, 60s cowboy movies, Western movies, they didn't quite have enough technology, I think, to, or at least budget or like really safety. That in Western movies they would film during the daytime and then put a filter on top of the camera lens, be like some purple lens that would see through, and it would filter and color the screen so when it captures it, it would look like nighttime just because it's darker. So I did that same thing where it's just a tint on top to like make the whole screen look darker. And this is layered on top of the rest of the screen. So with a Z process. Even though this is 2D, there is 3D layers. This is how everything's, you know, stacked up in this order anyway, you know. So it kind of renders backwards than anything else I've seen with 2D stuff. Like in Toon Boom, top means the top layer, but this means render layer. So it renders the camera first, and then the timer, and then the background, and then the ground, and then Derpy. So Derpy is now on top of everything before, above it, but above this direction means downward in under background. So it's backwards to what I'm used to, but you get used to it. Whereas like I want the day to night to be above everything, so I'll just put it below, and then it works. Then put the UI on top, which means below everything else. It renders later, which means it makes it on top. But there's also like ordering, where if I wanted to, I think this might work. Or go underneath, go downward, go make small number. Score label. Not that. We'll see if that works. I put the scored label a -6. So I'm thinking that might break it. Or not. Oh, it broke the moon though. Oh, what did I do? Ha ha, the moon's out. What did I do? Is it part of here? Is it reset? Reset should be sun. Did it not save or something? I'm scared. Okay. I don't know. As long as we're back. Okay. Huh. Huh. Ow. Blonk. Boof. But yeah. I think that's about game. So I think I kind of showed everything that I got. And got some stuff to do. I know most of what I wanted to do because I wrote this down, but yeah, if there's anything else you saw, like I guess you can, yeah, you guys can play the game and then see if there's anything that really sticks out. That's maybe not one of these. More like a real bug would be nice. Like I said at one point, the coin glitter effect didn't go away. I just haven't gone back to work on that. Yeah, I should probably put that somewhere. Polish cleanup, and then something with glitches. Derpy coin sparkle not leaving. But it does leave once you get hit again, so meh. So yeah, if you guys see anything else, let me know. I guess I'll check the Discord or whatever, and then see if there's more. Because there is stuff with the Discord that you guys did say. No, Cookie had some stuff. I'll just read it. Stuff about the UI. We did that. I worked on that to get the UI-B. This was 2 weeks ago, so that all of this was like super blank. I have to fix this. This is like the only error that I still have, but I know about it, so I just need to. Obviously, it still works, but there's like this collision when you reload a scene, just because it's a collision object, and during you're trying to remove a collision option during a physics callback. That's not allowed, so I'll have to figure that one out. Guess I can put that in the glitch section too. What was it? Some sort of physics collision collision on reload. What was it? Removing a is not allowed. Sure. So that's one thing. Jeez. So Cookie said 2 or 3 weeks ago, I don't know, the UI could pop or pulsate whenever you earn a point or a coin. So we did that. The The trees. Yeah, the tree was like the old version. So, fix that. A particle effect when you get hit. Not exactly a particle, but I made it a color change and added a whole animation. So that's good. The only thing I haven't really done is the game could speed up a little quicker, which is something I'll have to like fine tune. So I guess that's part of like the, it's like a polish or cleanup, I guess. It's more like a gameplay stuff. So I wonder if there's something I could do with the level. Tutorial game over. So somewhere between a tutorial and dying. So during the level, we could have the gameplay speed up quicker? Question mark. I think that's the only like critiques I've gotten from the Discord. I think most of what you guys been saying it has been in here too. There has been a couple things. I think the sunglasses, that's new. So thank you. I think I missed some of the comments. Planted the trailer progress until launch. Thank you. Yeah. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to put the trailer over the Horizons trailer somewhere. I could put that into like an extra slide it in somewhere. So I was thinking like either in the options or maybe the credits could be like some add the over the horizon. Oh, horizon. No. Trailer. To like try and put that into the credits, I guess, or maybe that's your credit is the trailer. That makes sense. Could put that onto the title screen. So it'll be two things there. I didn't talk about this, but I don't know if this will actually work out because the game is so small and I could probably optimize it. It's already really fast when it loads. Like I can close the game and then see how long it takes to time this to see how long this takes to get to game from game starting. It does take maybe like a second, but then when you press play, it's that's it. So I could probably mask the startup screen with like preload in it between the splash screen and maybe a cutscene. You guys probably don't want to see the cutscene every time you play or start the level, right? That doesn't make sense. But I need to have a way so you can view it again if you want to. It's like if it's your first time or like on boot or something, then play cutscene when you press play, and then it does the level. And then in options, there could be a button to be like, watch the cutscene again in here, I guess. That's an extra thing? I don't know. Story-wise, it would make somewhat sense to have the cutscene be the first thing that happens on boot up. I don't know. That's a thing. Too bad all you guys are a little light today. I could add that in for the opening cutscene. I know what happens. It's a Toon boom animation because I think it'd be too tricky to use the Godot animation. But Derpy delivers a mail, but trip overs a rocket and tumbles down a hill. Timing could be either play on first, replay or when you first open game before the title. Oh. What do you guys think? I feel like, and then also have a button to replay a cutscene in some way. So I feel, so many options. Yeah. I was gonna say the loading screen. Do I have that pulled up? It would just be this, where the loading screen would be her like rolling down, and then this background kind of scrolls, and then it'd be a cute picture or something of her rolling across. But I don't know. I have to see if the loading time, or it might be loading the loading screen as well. But we got something on the cutscene. Little film reel icon in the corner of the title screen. Okay. Oh yeah, that's another thing where I want to polish and clean up to change all of the, replace all the text with icons. Because obviously it's a little easier to debug it and just like get the puzzle piece done by just having it be a text. Rather than be like, well, I need some button, I don't know, what do I need? And then just calling it text shop makes it easy. The plan would be, yes, to either have both an icon here, so it looked like the level main menu. So it could be extended, where over here would be the icon of something. Just trying to drag it in. So this be like the picture of it, and then have the text next to it, or just delete the text, and then it would just be a big picture like this, maybe like a little wider, and then have that be just have like a whole bunch of pictures instead. My only concern would be people not understanding with the pictures. If I draw the picture bad, then it would be like, oh, I don't know what I'm clicking on. Or what's this do? Or I'm not gonna click it just because I don't know what it means. Even the title, I think my dad said it was a little tacky. Or he didn't understand the name of it. He was like, Snowfall, but you're rolling. Snow roll. Then I said that you guys voted on it, so I was like, another idea was to have it kind of be layered. Would kind of be best of both worlds if I can figure this part out. Layering it, where it'd be like this. It's a little busy. I wasn't sure how this would look, but we could have it where it's the text and then the icon underneath. Yeah. So, okay. Play button like the YouTube logo. Okay. Should I still have the text and try to layer it like this? Or just kind of get rid of the text and just have an icon? I feel like I just thought, if I'm gonna spend the turbo to make the icons, I would just make it just that. I don't know. Okay. Let's get these ideas in. But that was right. Okay. At least just for the title to be a little tacky. I don't think he had an opinion on like the text here, or at least in any other parts. What's a picture from main menu? You don't put like a restaurant menu. It'd just be like a back arrow or something. Yeah. Like an arrow facing to the left or something. Okay. Let me get these ideas in. Okay. So, hi. Place text with icons, maybe, so play is play triangle. A shopping cart for shop. Okay. I had an idea of it being, because my original idea was that it's for hats. I was thinking like a hanger, because I was going to have it be more extended to hats plus scarves plus booties. But what you really do in it is just like unlock just hats. If I do like an elf hat, there's no elf hat, like the triangle hat. You know? Or shopping. Yeah, shopping cart's a little complicated. I feel like basket's too complex with all of the... So what is it? eShop just uses a bag. Which kind of looks like the padlock in a way. Which you have to also animate the padlock as well. Or like have some sort of animation where it opens and like unlocks and does a whoa. Some sort of shopping bag or something. What was it? A cog. Gears or cogs. And then I feel like quit could be... I've seen like exits being like a door opening or like a door closing or something. Some sort of like a door that's open. I know like Europe has an exit sign with a, looks like it is the portal guy walking out of a door. What's the UK exit sign icon? Yeah, it's a little guy leaving out of a... that? Could just be this guy on the left. And they just transform this into a pony and just be a box. But like the same kind of like lifted arm and be like, oh, I'm walking out. Or here's a different picture. Do this with just the left side. Yeah, just bonify this into... I think the arrow's not needed, or the exit. Definitely that's... We're using icons because we're not doing text. So, what if there's a... Is there a pony exit sign? Just picture that I could just steal? Or reference? It added vector into my search box. I didn't type that. Well, here's the door one I was seeing. Where's the door one? Bing. Why did you show me a door? What's all this? What is this 1990s? Does that mean enter? Why does that look weird? Anyway, I wanted like some sort of door. Huh. I don't know. It feels like, what? What kind of perspective? I feel like I'm more confused looking at this. Okay. There are some pony ones, but they're literally just a cartoon horse. It doesn't even have the exit. Combine them. That's like a hazard horses on road. I'm getting a malware phishing error. Danger horses. See if I could do like pony crossing. That's a little different. So I guess not. I'll have to make it. Might be the first to make a pony exit sign, like one of those. Yeah, there's nothing else. Those are just pony pictures now. Those are nice though. Where was I? So is pony walking out of door. Okay, that solves those. So let's put that back because that's the actual button. And then the title screen, I don't know if Cookie was there. The title screen would be a little bit more interesting to look at. Here's the cutscene, there's the gameplay. Here's the title screen idea. My idea was that for the title screen, Derpy be close to the camera, where like she would kind of start out way back here and then roll towards the camera, and then it'd be like a flash, and then it'd like do a still. So it'd be animated her rolling into the screen, and then go poof, like a camera flash, and then she stops, and then her eyes would be following your cursor. So like, depending on what angle your cursor's at, her eyes would then kind of like look at it, look at your cursor or something, and then have all the buttons. I've seen this a lot. I played a bunch of indie games and played a bunch of itch.io games to like kind of get reference, and more often than not, the first thing, if I boot up a new game, the first thing I wanted to have happen is adjust the music settings, or like the volume. So I feel like I want to do something like that, just because I get annoyed when it's like, because I don't know, I feel like my computer volume settings are so messed up that this is like some stupid Windows tangent. Where this is my microphone settings. This is my I don't even have Steam open, but this is how loud everything is. And it's not like, you just don't want loud music, right? It was like, no, this is comfortable and way too loud. I don't know why it even goes that high, but all my settings are like, not even like 8% loudness. It's like, cool, yeah, these are great and loud, you know. The possibility to make it really loud is great, but if you're gonna like reset, like if it's a new thing, it's, new thing opens, and you're gonna be super, super loud, can you like not, set your default volume to be max? I would rather have the in-game sounds start at like halfway, and then if I want it to be louder, then I would go into the settings and boost it up. Rather than being like audio, flashbanged of like, whoa, and then like the first thing I do is like, where's the mute button? Where's the volume button? It's like, if you're playing this game is pretty cool. Here's my splash screen. We made this. And then here's the title screen. You gotta wait for all the animations to settle, and then you can click the mute button. So, yeah. The least I can do is probably just make the sounds, like in the options, be halfway up default, and then you can set it to be louder to like what I would use as a standard, I guess. I don't know, music and everything is so tricky anyway. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Anyway, so play other games and see what you notice and be like, yeah, I don't like this. Because it's not like every game has a wide array of options. Like even like in Nintendo games, like if you try to, like I wanted in Mario Kart World to be like, oh, I want to adjust the volume settings so I can have the music be louder than the sound effects, or turn off the sound effects so I could just listen to the music, because there's no other way to listen to the music. There's no audio playlist or any kind of unlockable, I don't know, there's an unlockable way to soundtrack player sound test. Back in those old games to be like, oh, you know, like in the 90s games to be like, oh, you want a sound test, which sometimes acts as a cheat code thing, but yeah, having a little way to, what am I saying? Yeah, just to set it so I can individually have sliders for individual buses. Because that's how Godot and other stuff works, is that I can set the sounds. Did I put the sound in here? Yeah, there's a sound in here where I can set the individual bus. A bus is not much explaining. I think of it as channels, but it's not exactly a channel. It's like some other type of doohickey. So there's a master, and then I made a music one, and then a sound effect one. So I could add another bus for something else. But yeah, I can individually set between the different buses. So I think, I haven't done it yet, but I'm thinking that that allows me to then, so I could probably mute this and then play the game, and then we can see what happens. Because then that should isolate the music out, and then, well, I turn off my regular music. Yep, that's how it works. So, I'm gonna turn that off, go to audio, turn music on, mute sound effects. And so what should now happen is that only the music in-game should then play. Yeah, so if I can use those, then I should be able to use those to my advantage in the options, and then set these up so then I can individually do it. But it looks like they're already, it's at 0, so I probably could have some sort of start value, because I feel like I've keep having to make the sounds, like I made the cash register, but it was kind of loud, so I had to like go through and make it -5 decibels. So if I just do like a global sound effect lower or something, this would be my slider from like -5 to 0 at the top, rather than being 0 and then like, you want to boost it? Oh, fancy. Oh, I can add an individual. Okay. Ew, what if we can code between each of these? See, I haven't even had time to even mess with any of this yet. So there's a lot. A lot to do. So anyway, that's about it for the stream tonight, I think. Probably should call it, 'cause I'm tired. Just imagine me working on this like every day for the last, I think, several weeks, probably like close to a month. just working on this every day. Slowly getting through it. Hiccups and all. I'm trying to work through all those. But now I got it to be actual playable. And you guys, I think, were able to play it. I don't know. But yeah. We'll go to touch time and I'll just relax. Get some lunch and I think I got a couple chores and then work on this a little more. So I just gotta pull up my handy dandy to-do list and then just plug away at some of this today. And yeah. it's better than you think, but still, it's just me being super thorough. But yeah. So I think at the bottom it said tentative release. That's not even how you spell release. Okay. Tentative release of version 1. We'll see. If not, then imagine this be a 19 for version 1 and then 20 whatever for version 1.1. So that's the goal. That's the optimal goal. But with everything here, we'll see. But again, I got most of the puzzle pieces pretty much in line. So then it's just like editing and adding more to the puzzle pieces rather than starting from scratch and trying to rip my hair out trying to code an entirely new puzzle piece from scratch. So yeah. That's all. Okay. Thanks for all your suggestions. Thanks for playing the game if you have. I hope to have you guys play the final game. At least the first release version. And then, yeah, I'll just gotta pick and choose to be like which will be for later. Because I think schedule-wise, add in whatever week this will be. But the first release would be just a bare game. And then sometime later will be the update to the game with any bug fixes, features, whatnots. Plus the what would it be? It would be the art book and music player. So and the making of with the art book and music and yeah. So and that'll be paid. Should I up? No. I don't know if I should up the art book and music to be $2 minimum. They would cover some of the processing piece stuff, but I don't know. I feel like that's a little quick to be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Hope you're doing very well in the game. Thank you. It's been a lot of work and will still be a lot of work, but at least it's somewhat less work than it was a while ago, because now things are working. But yeah. Well, I think the game will be free. The base game will be free. I explained this. Is that the gameplay game will be free on itch.io. But just to like make it a little bit more worthwhile, I guess for me, would be to have having something worthwhile for you guys to let's see. I'm tired. For the amount of time that I spent on it, I want to have something that you get. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not trying to be greedy in a way, but just trying to explain it of like, well, I spent time in it, and if you want some supplementary materials I don't want to give the assets away for free, and especially art book. like I want to spend time on making the art book look nice, and I feel like if I just give away those assets, I feel like that undermines the amount of time and effort that I put into it. So if you want to supplement your materials and have those assets like the music and the pictures and drawings and stuff, then I feel like that's supplementing in a way where it's not tied to the game itself, but if it's a nice way of saying as a customer for you guys to say, yeah, I like it, I like the game, I would like to support it, you as a creator, but why would I, as a customer, why should I, tip you? What do I get out of it? And then I can say, well, if you do support me, then you'll get the art book and the other stuff and other supplementary stuff. So hopefully that explains it really badly. But yeah, again, the game will be free, but as a more of an incentive for you guys when you decide to play the game and have a more generous heart to be like, oh, I feel like I want to support you for spending this much time and effort into this. I feel like then as the customer you have that then choice to be like, okay, here's how I can support you by paying, and then as a thank you from my side to be like, oh, thank you for supporting me. Here's some exclusive stuff that you wouldn't get otherwise. So, like, you wouldn't get in Sunny's Dream, you wouldn't get the art book, all the sub-rendering stuff. I put a lot of effort into that, actually, to be pretty thorough and put a bunch of pictures and developer commentary as well onto it to make it worthwhile. So, yeah. All right. I'm exhausted. Okay, good. Any ad stuff, again, I feel like that'll annoy people more than it'll help me out. Because I don't know what the rate is for like an ad. Again, I have to like figure it out, and then I spend time to figure it out, and then the payout of that would only work on the mobile versions. I'm planning on also putting it on HTML, so embedding it inside of a website. So you go to the website where the game is, and then you could just press play, and then you don't have to download anything. The itch.io servers or whatever is downloaded the game into the website itself, and then you can play through there. So that's kind of like that, and the mobile game might be the only ones. Well, even a mobile game, I don't think that's online. So there's no link between your downloaded file on your phone to me, unless some sort of the ad services. So I don't know how this exactly works, or if the ad services use some sort of device that connects to the offline phone file. So that's where I'm getting tricky. Is it's like, how does it know that you saw an ad unless the file connects to some sort of server or ping something? And it can't really ping unless it's connected to something like the internet. So yeah, I'm not gonna do ads just because I don't know how. And it's gonna be free just because I'm not an experienced game developer yet. I'm advanced, I'm a professional artist, but as a game developer trying to put this all together, that's where I'm not experienced enough to be like, oh yeah, you should trust me with your wallet because I know how to make games, which is something I can't say. So I made one game, and that was programmed with strings and hope. And it doesn't quite work exactly all the way through. The Sunny Stream does have glitches, and I've seen it, and I so done with the game. That's so out of my mind. It's like, I tried. So that's actually one of my first things was, after I finished Sunny's Dream and published it and done all those things, I was like, can I remake this in a different engine? And I was like, oh, I don't want to use Unity because at the time there was like controversy. So I was like, can I use anything else? I was like, Godot looks interesting. So I've heard about Godot engine. I was like, let me see if I can copy paste my RenPy JavaScript code into this Godot script and hopefully it works. It didn't. So I was like, I had to redo the entire thing, and that's gonna be just it's working on it from the beginning. So I was like, scrap that. And then I think like a year later or less, I was like, I have an idea for a game. What should I do? Well, I guess I could try and learn Godot engine to like maybe make it possible to then redo the Sunny's Dream. Probably not work on that just because I want to keep moving on. Maybe I could do a Sunny's Dream 2 or some other type of game or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Anyway, a little overtime now. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week, either with the game ready and published for you guys to play. Then I guess we'll do a launch party stream, or we'll do another one of these where I'm just fumbling around trying to get everything done, or figuring out what I need to get done and trying to work on stuff. So, but yeah, thank you guys. We'll be back next week, and then stuff will happen here. So tune in for that. Yeah, well, we can wave together. Wave back to myself. I feel like this is looping. Shut up. Okay. It's fine. Get away from that song. Okay, thank you guys. Alright, we will be back next week with something, so stay tuned. Yeah. Bye-bye. It's quiet. Okay.